Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, let's just dive on in and let's talk about Ripple swell. So I can't believe that I have to do this, but apparently there's been a misconception around the entire community that thinks that events are somehow a major price driver. Ripple swell is not a price driver of XRP, but what Ripple swell does give us an insight on is where we are at right now around the world of finance. Specifically, where we are at with adoption of crypto, blockchain, the overall payments landscape, financial services, and even economic policy, as you guys do see them talking about there, as the statement around this swell event. Now, it's going to be set out in Dubai, which is a great area. They are becoming a massive crypto hub. They have been a crypto hub essentially for years now. Very acceptant of crypto, blockchain, and the companies around the space as well. Outside of that, if we do scroll down, they do have a video here. If you guys do want to go watch the video, guys, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to play it, but we do see where leading industry innovators converge. The energizing two-day event will be filled with captivating discussions on topics that are most important to the finance industry today. Delve into the intricacies of payments and digital currencies, examine the impact of regulatory frameworks for digital assets, and gain invaluable insights into how blockchain and crypto technology will merge with traditional markets to create new solutions for institutions and businesses across the globe. Forge meaningful connections, engaging eye-opening conversations, and unlock opportunities for collaboration that could shape the trajectory of your business. And again, this is heavily focused on the business side of things. Because do you guys remember the Crypto Means Business campaign, which they have up there at the top up here? Well, they're really kind of targeting that. And I think now is probably the best time for any company within the space to do so, because this space is practically dead. The ones that are still here are the ones that are still building, that are thriving, that are actually focused on the end goal around the space, which is the impact that blockchain technology and crypto technology will have on these huge areas of opportunity, specifically business. Now, this is going to be held on November 8th through the 9th of this year, so definitely stay tuned to this. I think that there's going to be a lot more information coming out around swell. Usually there is. I know that swell from 2022, for an example, had a lot more information tied to it. We actually got to see a few, of the major speakers that were going to be there. But here you guys have why attend. They do outline this: 600 plus attendees, 80 plus speakers, and 40 plus countries represented. So big amount of individuals that will be there, and these are going to be high on the food chain individuals as well, from institutions, businesses, you name it. And 600 plus attendees, that is no joke. And also they do have these session topics down here, so you could pause this if you want, but financial inclusion, sustainability, compliance, regulation, the future of crypto, and so much more. At the end of the day, these are the events that get me very excited because they give us an insight. Like I said, I don't really care about price driver. Like I know that Ripple swell is not a price driver, but we do get to have an insight on what's actually happening around crypto. And there's going to be some great speakers here. These are the speakers, for an example, and the list goes on, right? Now, I'm pretty sure, like I said, there's going to be a lot more speakers here. There's 80 plus speakers. They're probably going to add more names to the list, but these are some great names so far. And it really kind of gives you an insight on who's going to be there, who's going to be discussing what, and they also even have an FAQ section where you could read more about what's going to happen in terms of who and what is going to be discussed there. So again, as we really kind of look at this swell event, I think that this is going to be very exciting. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But outside of that, we have seen some very large announcements around Ripple and tokenization. Shout out to Crypto Eddie for this, but we do see successful POC completed tokenized bonds with Ripple partner Axiology, entering new phase introduced by Anthony Welfare. And remember what I've talked about with tokenization. This is a big opportunity. And also outside of that, Axiology, we covered them recently. They were a big player around tokenization with Ripple, and I'm very excited about this. 10% yield, 15 trillion euro of deposits ready to deploy. This is big. Also, go check out Crypto Eddie on YouTube as well. She has a full video with source links as well. But let's listen closely.
With Anthony Wolfer from Ripple. Anthony, where are you? Oh man, so good to see you. Yes to Anthony.
Ripple 12 months ago was 350 people. We're now 800 people, and that's actually without the MetaCode transaction that we just bought.
Yes.
So we're 900 people globally in a crypto winter, which is absolutely amazing. And that's where we've got some interesting solutions. So Andreas, who is just sat here, Andreas is from Superhow, and these are one of our partners who are launching their new project, which is called Axiology. And we've been working with them for about 12 months, and it's going into a really interesting phase. It's basically a decentralized blockchain ledger for issuing securities, corporate bonds, private bonds, etc., in a decentralized way. So it's sort of tokenizing and sharing assets and bonds in a way that is going to be regulated.
Axiology, please welcome.
Hi there, my name is Marius, and I'd like to make bonds accessible to all. When I say all, I mean all of you, and that's why all of you should listen. I have two multi-billion questions for you. Why settle for 1% on your bank deposits when you can get 10% yield in the bond market? Why bother with a bank account when you can give money to your own government and earn 4%? The answer is that the market is rigged and it's only made for the big boys. There's no infrastructure and no space for you in this market. The average transaction in the bond market is 2.5 million. I bet that's not your ticket size. Our traction. We have secured support from Ripple Labs and Superhow. We partnered with the biggest brokerage in the Baltics. We vetted this infrastructure with a partner, and we implemented a successful pilot of them.
And this is exactly the types of use cases that gets me very excited, because as we look at the future, we know that the future is tokenized, right? We know everything around us will be tokenized. Tokenization has been taking off lately. Real estate is most likely going to be another big area of opportunity around tokenization as a service. And it's only going to continue to grow from there, right? Outside of this, we know that there's been a lot happening around tokenization with Ripple. Specifically, one of the biggest things that we have been focused on is even in Hong Kong. Ripple has been selected to showcase a real estate asset tokenization solution as part of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority's inaugural EHKD pilot program. Find out more. And this was a big one because this is centered out on real estate. Now we also see with Axiology, which is a partner of Ripple's, they're entering into tokenization of bonds, which is a big opportunity because this is a 15 trillion euro of deposits ready to deploy. Like, this is massive to say the least. But outside of this, right, we know Ripple has been working with Hong Kong for a while around tokenization, not only of real estate, but also many other areas as well. And they are working with businesses and financial institutions themselves. Now, how are they going to move this value of tokenization, right? Like, things are going to be tokenized outside of the norm. We're talking more so outside of like even just real estate and bonds, everything. But how is all of that going to be moved, settled, transferred? Well, you need something there. That's where XRP also comes into place. There could be other tokens as well, but I do think that this is where XRP is going to also see a lot of growth, and it's going to be tremendous. Outside of that, though, stablecoins are becoming a big deal in Hong Kong as well. Just recently from the Digital Pound Foundation, which also did post the Ripple Hong Kong news around real estate. Properly supervised stablecoins could cement Hong Kong's position as a dominant Web3 hub, leading to the creation of innovative financial tools and solutions anchored on these digital assets. Again, as we look at stablecoins and we look at CBDCs, they're becoming a reality. And it's just another step around the tokenization as a service. And it really kind of takes me to Ripple, right? Because Ripple has the Cbdc platform, which also does help stablecoin issuance as well. And even if, because we know that the XRP ledger is a stablecoin issuer, right? It has this as an opportunity on the ledger. Even if it's the private XRP ledger, because I see this question being brought up quite a bit as well on the channel. If it's not on the public ledger, and maybe it's on the private ledger, because it's private ledger based upon the XRP ledger, XRP still can be utilized whether it's a private or public ledger. There's no two XRPs. There's no, different price XRP on the private ledger. All that is nonsense. Anybody telling you that, I'm telling you right now, I would just unsubscribe from their channel and I would avoid them at all costs because they do not know what they're talking about. We have seen multiple individuals from Ripple themselves, including David Schwartz, debunk the idea of the private ledger XRP nonsense, and I still see it being pushed today. There's only one XRP, and in my opinion, when we have the public and the private ledger working together, meaning guess what? We have the XRPL for retail use cases and things like that, and even maybe some public public CBDCs, public stablecoins, and then we have the private ledger working with CBDCs and central banks and things like that. You still need XRP on both sides of the spectrum, which is again huge for XRP because it means more demand. But also it's building right into the idea of what's on Ripple's focus point, which is expand, expand, expand. Continue to build upon what they already have, which is, focusing on the idea of moving money as fast as possible, which was the original idea, the internet of value. Well, now we're kind of starting to see that all become a reality through CBDCs, stablecoins, tokenization services, the liquidity hub. I mean, there's so much happening around Ripple, and there's even so much happening around XRP with the XRPL. I mean, it's a very exciting time to be in this market, to say the least. But we continue to see Ripple being a part of major pilot projects. For example, this one was a huge one from Anthony Welfare, yet again, just recently announced on the 28th. Great to be part of the next stage of the pilot project of the National Bank of Georgia Digital Lari project, or Lari. The Digital GAL project is entering a new stage in order to test the technological capabilities of the central bank digital currency system and identify possible areas of targeted use. The National Bank plans to create a real pilot environment with limited access. After long-term research and due consideration, the National Bank publishes a list of 9 companies. Over here, we have those 9 companies. Ripple is one of them. So when we look into this, one of 9, all right, that means there's a 1 in 9 chance that Ripple is going to be the winner from this. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think is the chances that Ripple is going to be the chosen one from this list? Because as we really kind of look at who Ripple is versus all of these other players on this list, we know Ripple has the most experience around central banks and working with central banks, especially through CBDC initiatives. And I'm very interested to see what happens here, because we know, and you guys probably see it on the right side there, that the National Bank of Georgia just recently collaborated with the BIS with Enbridge, right? And that's their CBDC initiative. Outside of that, it seems as though, and just like I said in that video as well, like this Enbridge is not the end all be all. And even if it is, it's not replacing what these companies like Ripple are doing. If anything, it's actually building upon that. And I think that this confirms it, because why would the National Bank of Georgia be looking into CBDC project pilots with these companies if they're already collaborating with the BIS? A lot of people think that the BIS is trying to replace everything within the space, but the BIS is actually trying to collaborate with the public and private sector because they even said that that's needed in order for CBDCs and this new era of the monetary system to really kind of thrive. We don't get a new financial system without collaboration on both fronts. this is why I also say, like, pay attention to what Ripple is doing. Pay attention to who Ripple is becoming, because for the longest time, and I've always said this, Ripple has been, you know, they've been followed forever around, and all of the connections to all the big elites and the central banks and the central bank organizations. A lot of people will say, oh, like, this is not a good thing. To me personally, it is. Because listen, this world that these Bitcoin maxis are living in is ridiculous, right? They think that the world's going to run on Bitcoin. It's not. All right. And first and foremost, I've mentioned my concerns around Bitcoin. When we look at the future of crypto, it's what we're seeing right now, where the BIS, the IMF, the DTCC, all these global organizations that are, you know, elite organizations, if you will, they're tapping in to this technology. It's the number one reason why I say, like, focus on these events like Ripple Swell, because in the past, going all the way back to even like 2015 and before, we know that Ripple has had very substantial names there, even from the Federal Reserve. I mean, the list goes on, right? Like, go back to 2022. Go look at some of the speakers that were at the Ripple Swell event in 2022. Like, they are seriously no joke. And this is why I say, like, looking forward on, Ripple has already solidified their name in the financial space. And they're tapping into blockchain. They're tapping into crypto because they see the tremendous value behind it. And this is also what makes me very bullish about XRP, because we know outside of Ripple, like, XRP has unlimited and endless value tied to it. But Ripple sees that value and they're like, well, we need to tap into it. We need to harness it. And of course, yes, we know the history around XRP with David Schwartz and all that. But it's specifically designed for a lot of the use cases that are now becoming a reality. And we still might be years away, but when we look at things happening around tokenization, and we look at these areas around the world that are really kind of seeing the value behind stablecoins and CBDCs, and we see the central banks trying to adopt CBDCs, we see central bankers talking about DLT and blockchain, like, I don't see how that doesn't get people excited, because what we have been saying for forever, right? Like, even if you go all the way back to the initial years of Bitcoin, the whole idea was, like, this is the new financial world. Well, now we're seeing it blossoming into reality, where the organizations that these elites control, they're now talking about it. They're now planning on how to utilize this technology. And people think that that's a bad thing. What did you think was going to happen? I mean, like, we can't, we're not going to be, transacting using Bitcoin or XRP or anything in a world that's, completely free of central banks and financial institutions. Like, no, they need to use this technology as well. They need to tap into this technology. Now, of course, yes, there's a lot of problems with CBDCs and things like that, but we are seeing everything that we have been talking about forever around crypto now becoming a reality. And I feel like 2023, and maybe I'm crazy, but 2023 has been the big accelerant for this. Like, everything that we have been waiting for is now becoming a reality. So it's very, very exciting. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. There's been some very big announcements, especially with this one with the National Bank of Georgia. I think that this is a big one. We know that outside of this, we already know that Ripple is working with some very large names, like even Hong Kong, and Hong Kong themselves are even saying, like, we need a stablecoin, because supervised stablecoins could cement Hong Kong's position as a dominant Web3 hub. And it seems as though the race is on to be exactly that, with the UK, the UAE, Hong Kong. I mean, so many players now want to become a Web3 hub, and it's very exciting. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.